Another big fight coming up when I want to get into Canelo versus Crawford. It's huge. You've done a lot of business and a lot of great work you've done, you and your team at Matchroom Boxing and DAZN with Canelo. We did Crawford, Madrimov in Los Angeles last year, August the 3rd. We were all there. It was a close fight. Bud's first time at 154. Eddie, let's do a full breakdown of this because they're calling it the mega fight of the year. You know, I mean, Canelo against Skull last time, I didn't think he looked great, but then Skull didn't look great. Crawford hasn't really fought a lot the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So inactive. Your thoughts on September the 13th?
I think it's a great fight. I mean, it's two guys that are coming towards the back end of their careers, but two legends, pound for pound legends of the sport. A fascinating fight between two guys with tremendous ring IQ. I guess the big conversation is how the weight will affect Bud and how he will respond to the size. You know, we got a situation where in Los Angeles, Crawford didn't look that big against the 154. In fact, I thought Madrimov looked the bigger, the stronger guy in that fight. I thought it was a very, very close fight, that fight. Now you're going up 2 divisions at 168 for Canelo Alvarez, who is, you know, a pound for pound legend of the sport. Against Skull, he didn't look great. You know, the movement didn't look great. I didn't think his legs looked fantastic. And I think if Terence Crawford decides to box elusively in this fight, I think he's going to really have success. When he gets hit, that's really the $1 million question. How can he hang at 168? When you spend time with both of them, they're both so confident, you actually can't see him losing. Bud talks a brilliant game, and he's walked the walk continuously. And he has probably the best boxing IQ in the game. I probably, and you know, Canelo's my guy, but I probably lean slightly to Crawford in this fight, which, you know, me and you debated over a coffee downstairs. I know that I think you maybe go the other way, but I think that Canelo will be a favourite going in, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Crawford could do it.
Shakur, Crawford, these incredibly slick boxers. Is Crawford probably the best you've seen since it's like a Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, I really rate Shakur as an incredible talent. I mean, he is watching that Zepeda fight, and Zepeda's a really good fighter. I mean, when you talk about lightweights, he's top 3, top 4, and
work rate.
It was just the ease of, you know, Shakur when he's getting backed up, just sitting on the ropes and incredible. And those guys are very close. Shakur, Crawford, all those kind of guys. So it's just the IQ of those guys, you know. It'll be really interesting. I think Bivol really did set the blueprint of how to beat Canelo Alvarez. You know, what you do is you're slick, but you throw punches in bunches, you move into range, bomb, out of range. You do it again, because Canelo's not that active. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. And he hates movement, hates it. Crawford's got, Crawford, to be honest, Crawford's got to probably make it a little bit of a stinker. Do you know what I mean? And just don't worry about the crowd booing like they do in America after one round. Like, you've just got to go in there and just win rounds. And I think Crawford will win rounds in those fights.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially the early rounds. So Canelo may have to do something and try and, because he's not that active. I don't think he really wants to work that much.
What do you think of him when he fought Belanga? Dropped him in the second round, hard left hook, freakish left hook.
Yeah, but I mean, when was the last time Canelo got a stoppage?
Caleb Plant.
Yeah, and that was a good stoppage.
Vegas.
But beyond that, I mean...
He couldn't get Belanga out.
Billy Joe, what was that, 4 years ago?
That was huge.
Yeah, but that was busted
Jesus,
arse.
Electric that night.
Yeah.
Wasn't that electric?
Biggest indoor boxing attendance ever.
72?
75,000.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a great night. But listen, Canelo he's incredible. You just don't know physically. You know, the knee, the hands,
just
the
had
elbow.
a baby.
Yeah. So, but it's a great fight. Looking forward to it.
Do you think it'll do very well in terms of numbers? I know Netflix and Dana are very heavily behind it. To be honest, and there's nothing against Dana. I saw him read out the undercard today, and it was a bit, come on, Dana, it's not the greatest undercard.
It's difficult, but I think I saw the clip from Dana. There's a lot of people criticising, you're reading off a script and all this kind of stuff. We have to remember, we live and breathe boxing, right? I can tell you, on every show, every fighter, their record, probably everyone they've ever fought, right? And I certainly don't need a script. Right?
No, you've proven that.
That's my bread and butter. And when Dana does his UFC cards and he's got them up on the wall, he knows every one of those fighters, right? He can tell you all about them.
Teleprompters.
But he doesn't know them in boxing because he's not, I know he's a boxing fan, but he's not, boxing isn't his business.
No.
Now, listen, they're going into boxing, but he can't tell you about the undercard, who they all are, who they've ever fought, why this is a compelling fight. If they win, they could be fighting them. Do you know what I mean? But he's a massive name. So he's got the profile and all that kind of stuff. I just think hardcore boxing fans won't buy into it because they see through that. But casuals, it's Dana White. It's Dana White, it's Trump. Do you know what I mean? And he's a very good promoter. I don't know how tickets are going. I expect it to be a complete sellout. And I think he'll do a great audience on Netflix as well. It's not... Those two... we live in a world now on Netflix. Why Jake Paul does so well on Netflix? Because he's non-stop. And he is very good at talking to the fan base, the follower, and the customer. Do you know what I mean? These guys, particularly Crawford and Bud, and Canelo, they're not really interested. Do you know what I mean? Like Crawford has no interest in really promoting himself, and putting himself out to, be active. I'd say. And that's not just Eddie Hearn saying that. That Bob said that. Yeah,
Carl
but
Reddy
I feel like Top Rank maybe missed a little bit of a trick with Crawford, because actually Crawford has a good personality. He has an amazing story, but they never told it.
Incredible.
They never told it. Do you know what I mean? And I always felt, and I always said,
you did.
Crawford should be an American superstar.
Facts.
And he's not been at all. Right? He's made good money, especially through Riyadh season and this fight and that kind of stuff and the Errol Spence fight. But he should be an American sporting superstar. And he's not. That's the reality. And that's not something you can do overnight at 36 or whatever he is now. You've got to build it on the way. Do you know what I mean? You got to really, like Tank, like Boots, all of these guys, you've got to build them into selling massive tickets at big arenas from 26, 27, 28. Look at the achievements of Crawford. He should be massive, massive.
Canelo come out and said, who has he fought though?
Do you know what? I actually, when I was on a plane with him,
Gamboa,
Crawford to Riyadh,
I saw the photo.
It's quite interesting. I said to him, the problem with you is your resume doesn't reflect that of a pound for pound, number one or number two. Your ability is unquestionable. But I think in terms of his ability, he might be pound for pound number one. I think Usyk has to sit there. But I put Crawford as pound for pound number two, in my opinion.
Top three.
Yeah, but when you look at his resume, like I said to him, who's your best win ever? Do you know what he said to me? Ricky Burns. Yeah. Right? Now listen, Ricky Burns was my guy.
Yeah, I remember.
But Ricky Burns never, went on a run where he was beating elite guy after elite guy after elite guy.
That's right, I did say that.
So you're saying that's your best win?
He didn't say Spence, he didn't say
No, he didn't say Spence because I think also probably emotionally, the Burns fight was his first championship, all that kind of stuff. But Ricky Burns was a great fighter. But also, if you're going to be a generational great, you're telling me that's your best win. Errol Spence was damaged goods, right? Which was a shame because, and I went through this with Crawford. I said, Kell Brook was at the end of his career. So was Amir Khan. You beat Gamboa,
Porter.
Yeah, Porter. Benavidez at 140 and Dongo.
Kamalaskas.
But it wasn't his fault, by the way. I just think he's been unlucky that either people haven't wanted to fight him or he just missed out on the weight classes when they were full of the big names.
Right, okay.
But this is the win, in my opinion, that puts him as a generational great. And ability-wise, he's unquestionably a generational great. But if you want to be I guess you can always be picky with resumes.
Yeah.
But if you want to be picky with Crawford's resume, it ain't difficult to do.
Canelo, who's his best wins?
I mean, I think it's a little bit different with Canelo because, again, you can always be picky. But Lara, I know it was a close fight. You know, people say Cotto was done when he fought him. You know, even you go Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, he went on that run where he beat Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant to become undisputed within 12 months. Mm-hmm. You know,
Golovkin before that.
Golovkin, great, yeah.
In the first two that we did. The third
no,
one was
even Kovalev, like, you know, I know he was at the back, but he was a big, strong puncher at 175. You know, there's plenty of others, but I think Canelo's resume is much more impressive than Crawford's, if I'm honest. But you know, Crawford's resume is still amazing. But when you think he's a pound, like if you look at Usyk, he beat every cruiserweight world champion and did it in their backyard, right? Then he moved to heavyweight.
With a
he beat AJ twice, Fury twice, and Dubois twice.
Dismantled Dubois in that last fight.
So that, for me, is unquestionable.
That was scary, that last fight.
So, you know, but Crawford, the reason I put Crawford so high on the pound for pound list is because of his ability. I think he's brilliant. But I still don't think it's not his fault, but I don't think he's quite got the resume that he could have had if the era was a little bit different. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
The winner, if it's Canelo or Crawford, where do they sit next? Because we know Canelo's got all these people, and Al's got a few of them, you know what I mean, and Samson and these, you know, we're talking about Benavides and that, but is Canelo sort of, this is the fight, and even if is it Crawford, is this sort of, we're getting to the latter stages, this could be one of the last, or, you know, second last or last fight that we see these guys.
Yeah, I think the end is near for both of them, if I'm honest. I mean, I think, you know, Turkey's got a plan with Canelo to do more fights. I think the Hamza Shiraz fight is a fight that personally Canelo really likes. Turkey really likes in the kingdom. For Crawford, be interesting on the weight. You know, see, he's a 154 right now. I mean, he was at 47, probably outgrew it. But he has also gone from 35 to 40 to 47 to 54 to 68. It's a big jump, right? Now, if he comes back to 54, Jerome Boots Ennis against Lima is a final eliminator for the WBA title, October the 11th. I would love to make Boots against Crawford. I think that is one of the best fights in boxing. Win or lose against Canelo Alvarez. Do you know what I mean? But if he loses and comes back to 54, he'll have to fight Boots if he beats Lima. So that's going to be interesting. I don't think Crawford, again, I don't know him really well, but like talking to him, I don't think he plans to hang around too long. I'm not speaking out of turn, but I don't think that's necessarily retiring after this, but I don't think he's thinking, yeah, I've got another 2 years or 3 years, you know. I think if he got beat against Canelo, I'm not sure if he'd want to come down and fight Boots and give him that opportunity. Do you know what I mean? But he's also made a lot of money. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the Spence fight, the Madrimov fight, and this fight. But look how inactive he's been.
That's what worries me, Eddie.
He boxed Madrimov in August of last year. Right? So he's been out for a year. And wasn't it Spence was about a year before that? Or
correct.
Something like that?
July 22.
Was it? Mad.
I was there.
So he's had 2 fights in 2 years.
Unbelievable event. But at the weigh-in, I thought, geez whiz, Spence don't look good at this weight.
Yeah, but Spence another great fighter, but damaged goods.
Will he come back, Aaron?
I don't think so.